Welcome to One-on-One. I'm Steve Adubato. We do a series where we talk to great teachers, exceptional educators. It's part of the Classroom Close-Up partnership we have with the New Jersey Education Association, and here's one right now. He is Drew Holmes, Architectural Design Teacher, Atlantic County Institute of Technology. Now, you are a former architect?
Landscape architect.
And you shifted into education?
Yes.
Because?
I wanted to do something a little different.
Really?
Yeah.
Because?
Wanted to try to help people. I didn't really feel like I was helping anybody doing what I was doing. I was designing a lot of casino stuff, and at the end of the day, you would say you might beautify something, but you just didn't really feel like you were doing anything.
How long have you been teaching?
15 years.
Love it?
Love it.
Well, it's interesting. I mentioned the New Jersey Education Association and the Classroom Close-Up series, which is you can see on New Jersey's public television station, NJTV, and we've been working with the NJA on this series where we feature great educators. And what we do is we show a clip that you're about to see right now, and then we have this conversation with the educator. And this is a clip from Classroom Close-Up that features Drew and his work, and then we'll come back and have a conversation.
All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to organize up into our groups.
Architectural Design Teacher Drew Holmes, along with dozens of students from the Atlantic County Institute of Technology, started this outdoor classroom project back in 2012. Over the past 2 years, ACIT students designed and actually built every landscape feature and structural component for this classroom.
When they're designing something that they can actually see built, it's a different ball game. I gave the students little assignments. I said, I want you to design a desk. And another students came up with a multi-seater desk you see here. Then those students got together with the carpentry class and then redesigned the desk. The carpentry class took the design and went with it. So what was neat about it was to watch the kids get involved.
On the day of our visit, many of the finishing touches were being completed.
So what we're doing right now is we're nailing these trims on the bottom of the desk, so it holds the books, the textbooks, the notebooks, pencils, anything like that, so it doesn't all fall. It has some type of support.
All right, what I want you guys to do is start grabbing these, and you're going to lay them out in rows.
Art students also played an important role in this cross-curricular project.
It began as a two-dimensional idea in paper, and then we're developing in three-dimensional to kind of mirror the nature around. The idea is that not only art students, engineering, but even other students, or even a teacher, if happen to be here, they can pick up the color and they can begin drawing and then painting it.
Okay, guys, this is how it's gonna go. We're gonna bring it up. You guys are gonna come in.
Chris Padula and his carpentry students designed and built many of the features, including an ADA-compliant desk.
Okay. Standard work surface is 30 inches, so we're right there.
We want the English classes to come out here and be inspired to write poetry and essays and be out in the fresh air. Our physics classes can come and calculate the angle of the sun by measuring shadows against trees. We have art classes that come out here and obviously being inspired. My life science classes, we can come out here and do ecological studies. In any class, it could be applied. And I think it's just relaxing to be out here instead of being so confined all the time.
My father was one to say to me, goal, plan, schedule. Write down your goals. What do you want? What's going to make you happy in life? Once you make that decision, that's the goal you want, you got to go for it. And you'll say, hey, you know what, I learned something from that.
How much do you love what you do?
I enjoy getting up and going to work every day.
Now, what was that like? I mean, by the way, let's give credit. That program, I asked how many students you had there. You said, about how many?
Probably about 100 were out there that day.
And part of the reason you were able to do that is because you got a grant from?
Lowe's. Actually, Mrs. Hannah, the environmental science teacher, her students, and they got together and wrote a $10,000 grant. And out of, I believe, 30 schools applied for it, we were the ones that were accepted.
Miss Hannah?
Mrs. Hannah,
Mrs.
yeah,
Hannah, let's
she's
give her the credit for that.
Phenomenal teacher, phenomenal.
So, what are these students in this outdoor environment, which is just, I talked to you about how hands-on you are right there and how much they seem to be into it. what are they walking away with?
Well, they're learning basically how to work with other groups of people. Where in a typical class, you're working in a classroom environment, like my students were they were given the ability to design something and sit down with the carpentry class. They'd say, change it up a little bit, redesign it, and then go back and then build it, and then review it with them. It was a pretty neat process to watch the whole thing unfold.
What's an arboretum?
A collection of plants. I got the idea because I went to Rutgers. I went to Cook. And
You too? I went to Rutgers.
Yeah.
You tell people if it's an Ivy League school?
Well, I've gotten.
Because I stopped doing that recently. I got caught.
I got in a couple arguments. My brother lives in California, and he's constantly has to explain it to him.
They got that Stanford school out there?
Yeah.
Nah, never mind.
Nothing.
Go ahead. So this whole arboretum, why is it so important to the initiative?
Well, first, we took out a few plants, and the idea came to us was because my superintendent, Philip Gunther, came to us and said he had an area that he wanted to come up with an idea of what we could do with it. And so I was thinking about the pinelands and teaching the students about the pinelands, and I wanted them to understand the regulatory process and how I could bring that into the classroom. And I sat down with Mrs. Hanna and I said, we've got this, we put our heads together, and that's what we came up with. And then I went and talked to Joel Mott from the Pinelands, and he came in, and that's how we started the process. And actually, the reason why is because I have a great superintendent, Philip Gunther, and then Ron DeFelice is my principal.
Well, you are dropping a lot of names that are going to score you a lot of points.
Well, I don't know if I'm trying to score points, but they basically, as an educator, what happens is
you got to collaborate. You need these people.
You have to have. If you don't have these people, you're in trouble.
I was going to ask you a leadership question that I ask people. What's the greatest leadership lesson you learned? Is it working with other people?
Definitely. You have to know how to work with other people. Yep. And you have to lead by example. And sometimes it's tough. Sometimes it's tough in the classroom to lead by example. Because you have kids coming at you with a lot of different things.
It's so interesting. You're very physical in what you do. And pull back on a shot, guys. You've got a bicep tendon tear, right? Which I told you I happen to unfortunately know that injury. You're not able to use your right arm the way you would like to. How much does that affect your teaching?
I banged it yesterday.
Oh, man.
I banged it on the desk yesterday, and I actually went to the doctor's on the way up here this morning.
Point is, you need every part of your body to do what you do.
Definitely, and you can see I move my hands a lot. So when I'm communicating, I don't know if it's from my mother or my father.
What are you trying to say? Your family is somewhere from Italy? Is that what you're saying?
No, not from Italy, but that's just, they're from Ireland.
Well, either way,
Yeah.
You are a great teacher, an educator who deserves to be recognized, and we're very pleased that you joined us. And keep doing what you're doing, and we thank you and all the educators out there.
Thank you.
Stay right there. Drew Holmes, who is an architectural design teacher at Atlantic County Institute of Technology. Stay right there. One-on-one will continue right after this.
One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating over 25 years of broadcast excellence. Funding for this edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been provided by the New Jersey Education Association, Wells Fargo, the North Ward Center, PSE&G, Johnson & Johnson, New Jersey Sharing Network, and by Verizon Communications. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area.